Okay, so this video is just to give you a look at the first app you'll be making that uses the TinyWebDB. Um, and this app is a little different than most of the other apps we made because it's not really going to do anything. Um, the point of the app is actually to see how you can implement sort of a login system. So if you wanted to create an app where people had accounts and they had to log in, this is going to show you how they could do that. So right now we're on sort of the main page here. You can see there's a username box, a password box, a login button, a forgot password button, and a new account button. All right, so if we hit the new account button, it will bring us over to the account creation page. And the account creation page is basically just going to be a bunch of text boxes and then like a submit button. So it's going to ask for a username, it's going to ask for a password, it's going to ask you to retype the password, and then a security question and an answer. All right, so the first thing it's going to check is just to make sure that you don't leave any boxes empty. So if I was to hit submit right now, it would say you can't leave things blank and give me an error message. And then if I put in my username, I'll just make the password app right now, but I'm going to make this one app2 so they don't match. And then I'm going to make my security question just say blah. And I'll make the answer just be yes. I'll just keep it simple for right now. So if I hit submit now, it should tell me that, sorry, your passwords don't match. All right, and it does. All right, so now if I fix that and make the passwords match, all right, when I hit submit, it's actually going to give me an error because I've already created an account called Mr. Vona. So if it's a duplicate account, it's also going to give me an error. All right, so, oh, that name is totally taken. Nice try. So I can then go in and change this. And now that I have a unique username, matching passwords, a security question, and an answer, when I hit submit, all right, it will actually create that account in the web database. All right, so give it a second to bring me back to the first page. All right, and then it's bringing me back to the first page, but that account has been created. And if you don't believe me, I can actually go to the database, and there's the account right here. The username is Mr. Vona2. There's my password, there's my question, there's my answer. All right, and there's the first Mr. Vona that was causing me to get the error that that name already existed. Okay, so there's also going to be a forgot password page. All right, so if we go over to the forget password page, you'll kind of see how that one works. And then what you're going to be creating on your own. All right, so again, two text boxes here. All right, it says username, and then we put it in here. And then when we click on this button, it's going to make the question show up down here. And then when we put in the answer, if the answer is correct, it's going to make the password show up down here. So first things first, let's put in a username that doesn't exist. So I'll put in Mr. Vona free because that name doesn't exist. And when I hit find question, it's going to say, sorry, that name doesn't exist. If I change it to Mr. Vona 2, pay attention to this part right here, right? Because that name exists, it fills in my question. Then I can go down here to the answer box, and if I type in the wrong answer, it's going to tell me that my access is denied. But then if I type in the correct answer, you're going to see that it fills in my password down here so that I now know my password, and I can go back to the home page and actually log in to the app. All right, so this is going to bring us back to the home page. All right, and then again, this is going to have similar error checking on it. So if I put in Mr. Vona 3, and then I'll put in app class as the password. All right, so if I try to hit login, it's going to tell me that's a fake name because Mr. Vona 3 is not an account that exists. If I change this to Mr. Vona 2 and I hit login, it's going to say denied. That's a fake password because the password is incorrect. And then I'll warn you now, my emulator's been crashing, so this should log me in. All right, the username's correct, the password's correct, but there's also a chance that that emulator is just going to crash when I hit login. So we'll see if we get lucky or not. Nope, I think we're going to be okay this time. So the username was correct, the password was correct. Oh, no, there we go. It crashed. Again, it was correct. You can see that the screen did change on the computer. It did send me to screen 2. Screen 2 doesn't really have any code, just like a close button. On my app, if I bring up the designer view here, screen 2 is just a message that says login successful. There's a picture and there's a close app button. But trying to switch screens that many times tends to crash the emulator. If I had just started and logged in first things first, it probably would have worked. But again, not a big deal. The point is that it successfully logs you into the app. And again, the app doesn't actually have to do anything. Again, like mine is just a picture here. The point is really just to learn how to set up sort of a login and how that can possibly work. So again, that's what you're going to be doing in the lab. The address for the database will be in the lab document. Again, you can go to this site and kind of, when you make a submission, make sure that it worked. Obviously, don't delete somebody else's data, but if you screw something up and you need to delete something that you put in, feel free to click those delete buttons and just get rid of it. Again, don't get rid of other people's stuff, but if you submitted something and screwed it up, feel free to delete it and try it again. All right. So hopefully that is useful to you. And best of luck. All right. As always, reach out if you have any questions.